Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Backlog Podcast number 52, and today we got a chance to sit down with PolarBair and talk about being a TO for fighting games, what got him into Cyberbots' Full Metal Madness, and what's new with Street Fighter 6. I hope you enjoy this episode. Yo, guys, welcome to the Backlog Podcast number 52. I'm Matt.
Quintessence.
I'm Breezels.
And
I'm PolarBair.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Today,
right.
Today we're also joined by PolarBair. Yo, PolarBair,
Just screwed it all up.
how you doing, man?
It is what it is. I'm doing fine. Just lazy Sunday.
Same. I was like, man, what was it? Today, I wouldn't say it's a lazy Sunday exactly for me because I haven't slept yet. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I work like third shift. And my sleep is all kinds of messed up, as it typically is.
Yeah, that shit's fucking hard, man.
Yeah, and so I'm trying
Shame, dude, shame.
I'm trying to reset my sleep right now. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna stay up. So I said, all right, well, what can I do? So I started working on the stream a little bit, prepping for everything. And I was like, all right, my wrist's really hurting from like using the mouse. And so I went to go play some Final Fantasy V. And I've been like really digging into that game. Has anybody ever played
Pixel remaster?
Not the Pixel remaster, just because that's like still close to $20.
Oh, damn, still?
Well, for the entire Pixel remaster, it's like $70.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, which is
I thought that game was free.
Final Fantasy V?
Yeah,
Like an emulation, you mean, is free?
yeah, free.
I mean, yeah. I guess if you want to emulate it, but I if I could, I would probably buy the Pixel remaster. But I'm the type of guy where it's like, if I don't want to buy like one out of the 6 Final Fantasy games and play. You know, I gotta buy all like 1 through 6. I gotta do it. I don't know what it is. It would just bother me if I had like 5 and I didn't have like 1, 2, or 3.
Did you buy the $7 Steam port?
I bought the Steam port. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is basically like, the mobile version.
Yes.
It works.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is, it's actually delisted now. I found that out. So you can't get it anymore.
Probably that's because they released the Pixel remaster, man.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I had bought it.
It's always a weird move, right? When they delist an old port, just because like, what if the new one has issues? I think that happened with like Sonic Origins. That was a big problem.
Sonic Origins. Oh yeah.
Because like the original, I think based on the mobile Sonic 3 and Sonic CD especially.
Yeah. That game is still really fun. But while I was playing through it, I just realized how much better Final Fantasy VI is as a game.
Final Fantasy VI is fucking still super good.
It is. It's really, really good. It basically took everything Final Fantasy V did, and they're like, all right, so instead of having 4 characters, why don't you just have multiple different characters that have different jobs instead of like just having to rotate between characters? Though the ability to, rotate your abilities, like, having a summoner with time mage abilities, or like a summoner with like black mage or white mage, or even red mage stuff, just kind of breaks the game a little bit once you kind of get in the thick of it.
It's very easy to min-max in Final Fantasy V.
Yeah.
But that goes for like games like Octopath Traveler, which I like that game quite a bit too.
Is it
when
similar?
you fucking break that game wide open?
Wish that game had more to it.
Yeah. We'll see what they do with the new one.
It's probably the same thing.
Yeah, looks like a safe move.
It does.
Wait, so Octopath, does that play like Final Fantasy 6 or 5?
It's
It's turn-based.
It's turn based, and at a certain point in the game, like every character themselves has their own job, and like that's kind of it. And give them like a secondary job class, and that's where shit really gets, wacky.
Yeah.
Where you can break like damage caps like left and right. It's
You can hit a buffer overflow on the damage cap and just deal infinite damage essentially. It's kind of funny.
Whoa.
Yeah. If you're like a tinkerer with JRPG mechanics, that's definitely the game for you.
Yeah. I think for me, with Final Fantasy V, the one thing I can say is that there's never been a time where I felt like my head was above water yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like I just went to this one, castle. Essentially, there's enemies doing 9999 damage there for unknown reasons. Like, it just feels like there's weird difficulty spikes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also fighting a boss who uses return. You guys know what return is? So essentially what return does is it's a white mage ability that restarts the match from the beginning.
Man, that sounds like just all bad.
So if I the ability coin, where you can throw a coin at somebody, it does like a ridiculous amount of damage. So I'll throw a coin, I do 7,000 damage. He just goes like return, like automatically, and it starts over. It's so annoying. It is literally.
If you didn't?
Oh no! That's the thing. Is like you'll just whittle him down, and then he'll just use return. So it becomes
sounds fun and engaging.
It sounds like fighting Elizabeth in Persona 3.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
bitch.
It's like there's only one actual way you need to play this, and if you want to do your own thing, well then screw you. Or you're playing our game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Honestly, when the game does things like that, it makes me feel like if I just don't have the right setup and the right characters in the right place at the right time, I just have to start restarting, trying different combinations of characters and abilities until I figure out what to do. It's really kind of monotonous, and it's like, all right, give me the strategy guide. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
What's up, Banjim? How you doing, man?
I'm cheating. I give up. Moving on.
I mean, so that was the thing. They said something along the lines of use Berserk so he can only attack instead of using magic. Yeah. So I did that, and then he still uses return.
Ouch.
So then it's like silence him. I've attempted to silence him like multiple times, and it just misses every time. So it's like
he might be immune to silence.
It says you can silence him, so it's like.
Must be a really low roll then.
I mean, I have a level 6 white mage, like someone who's mastered white mage, and they can't silence him. But it is what it is. I'll figure it out. But anyway, moving on. Sorry about the little Final Fantasy side tangent. I love that. I love those games.
It's cool. I haven't played in much Final Fantasy that I can remember. I have a friend who's really into it though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of him. TTTTTSD. It's a hard name. I just called him T5.
That sounds good.
Well known. I guess sort of well known now. Plus our Cliff player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. But that's really cool. But yeah, I think so. What I wanted to do today is I want to try something new with you guys. And so we were going to go over kind of what we had learned this week in kind of fighting games. If there's anything new, I don't know if Quint, if you want to go first, or I can, if you need a little bit more time to prep.
I mean, like, I can go first. Basically, what I learned this week has been like a 2-week kind of progress kind of thing.
Same.
I learned that sometimes even the worst move can still have a lot of great applications.
Oh yeah?
or moves that, just seem like they just don't work. There's always like some kind of missing piece of that puzzle that can get them to work. Like, I learned like I play Fang right now in Tekken, right? And a bit of an unorthodox thing I learned is that his forward 3, which is like his little like jumping like toe tap forward, that also leads to the launcher. You can actually just kind of like use that as a poke and mind game your opponent because it's safe, and then just kind of like let it rip occasionally. It'll just launch the hell out of people. That's
the foot slide move, right? Like where he just
no, that's
the like jumping launcher. Like little foot forward. The one that extends into like the flip when he knocks you up in the air.
I feel
good
like
old 4-3-4.
Good old 4-3-4.
I feel like I could.
Man, if that move was
just using the forward 3,
I'd hate that move so much.
Forward 3 is safe for some reason. I don't know why, but so it's safe, and so I can just kind of like poke at people with it, and then let it rip. And like 90-ish% of the time, they'll be expecting that I don't.
Yeah, you don't do it,
and then they get launched.
They give you too much credit. Like, you mean he's too smart to like let it all rip.
Yeah,
but also if the move is safe, like I'm at a high enough level, like even when I have like some serious plus frames going on, it's like if Fang's not punishable, I don't want to just push into him because he's gonna fucking parry me.
He might.
Yeah. Or just do Kempo and there ain't shit I can do about it.
That's mostly what I learned, is just like even like kind of like unorthodox things can have really great applications.
Unorthodox things can have really great applications. I actually have a story about that. So one time, okay, so in Street Fighter 4, I used to play Abel. He was my character for a long time, and I had learned an interesting application with Abel's stand heavy kick, which is, I don't know if you know this, but it's pretty much not a very good button. But it's great against Hugo. So Hugo has like a very long reach in Street Fighter 4, and I was playing against Alex Valle. And so basically Alex Valle would like definitely always try to poke me like long range with Hugo's long arms. And so I would kind of stand at this range where as soon as he pressed it, I would press stand heavy kick, and it would kind of do a decent amount of like hit stun on him. But other than that, there was never really any real reason for me to use that move. There was always a better option. But because, you know, like his stand heavy punch really didn't reach that far. Stand heavy kick did reach far, but it's super slow. I think it's punishable at certain ranges, but at maximum range, yeah. So I definitely know what you mean by that. Yeah. But with Abel, it's like literally all you do is like fish with stand heavy kick every time. But at a certain range with stand medium kick. Because if you guys don't know, Abel with stand medium kick, he has a dash cancel. He can dash cancel out of it. And he's a grappler. So the whole idea is Abel wants to do stand medium kick, get next to you, throw you, or he can throw up an elbow and launch you. If he confirms it from a certain range. But yeah, I totally know what you mean.
Sounds fun and engaging.
It is, yeah. Breezels, did you have anything that you learned in fighting games this week?
Well, one thing that I learned in fighting games this week is that you're never too good to stop appreciating and practicing the fundamentals. All right, can I get an amen on that one?
Yep.
Amen.
Yeah, no, amen. Yeah.
Yep, because like I've been playing Tekken since like 2017, and
damn,
I got to currently I'm at a point where I feel like, you know what, this is very good, like closing chapter of like my Tekken 7 story, you know, while the game is still active before Tekken 8 comes out.
Yep.
And like, all right, let's see, you know, since I'm new to this whole Emperor rank thing, let's see what the other Emperor players are like. And I ran into an Asuka player that did nothing but spam back 3 along with a bunch of other shit. But like I could just pinpoint so many situations where like, all right, like I just get hit with like back 3, which is a launcher, and I, you know, die.
Yeah.
And then like I caught on, and so as the set went on, like I ended up punishing back 3, 50% of the time, and winning because of it.
The back 3? Or
Yeah, the back three. Yeah, punishing back 3 or properly interrupting back 3 because she's in an airborne state. With punishing it.
You can definitely like Paul.
It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, especially if they go for the low follow-up, because she really low profile is a Death Fist.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Just crush that mid, I guess.
Yeah. Or God forbid it counter hits you before it comes out, and that's a counter hit launcher. So there's a whole lot of Asuka's a character that you just don't press buttons into because it's a stupid idea. But also her buttons are really stupid.
Asuka is
like
overall annoying.
I was so tilted.
Runs up to you, Tsubaki.
Yeah. I mean Asuka's a big reason why I use all my elbow moves like almost exclusively now. But yeah,
might be a good argument for rank not really meaning that much, because I mean, if they're climbing all the way up just like spamming back 3 or whatever, I mean, I don't know about Tekken, but there are people like this all over every game, and it's crazy to me that they don't get gate kept.
I'm pretty sure it's just like somebody, and I see people do this all the time, like on message boards or wherever the hell. They're like, I just did this the whole way up until red ranks, and like, I'm pretty sure these are those same people who are like, I just, they're like, I went and joined a Tekken Discord, which I left immediately because I think it was about Geese Howard and how to play him, and it was literally the advice they gave me is like half circle back 3-4 your way to the top of high ranks. And it's like, I know that this might work, but this instills so many bad habits, and it makes me rely on some trash that
I have not learned anything,
and so it's sort of like you meet those people who are like, I just did I played Bison and I did Devil's Reversal my way to gold rank. What's wrong with you guys? Why do you all suck? And then you meet them in ranked and they're just doing the same thing over and over again. They're like, you kind of beat them, but it's whatever, man.
Your fault because you can't punish Psycho Crusher, scrub.
It's definitely one of those situations where I find myself in this position like a lot, where like I'm playing against somebody and like when you face someone in a fighting game, it's like you're having a conversation with, each other, just to get all philosophical about it. And like, I would expect that our conversation would like evolve and flourish and not be stuck on the same tangent over and over and over and over again. So in like a long set scenario, like, all right, you're definitely not going to spam back 3 now, or if when I'm facing Bobcat, you're definitely not going to hit back 1+4, and then I get hit by it anyway. Surely not.
Yes, again.
Yeah, it's like, the whole joy of fighting games for me, because like I'm not a top player in anything, but like I love learning and discovering and just like sharing ideas with people. And that kind of thing, like someone climbing up the ranks just using one move is like, is that really fulfilling to you? Is that fun? I don't know. Does the rank mean that much?
It's not my idea of fun.
Well, it's like how
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of the adage they went with.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
It's like you ever watch like Video Game Donkey? Video Game Donkey? Have you ever seen his video on Guilty Gear Strive where he like Totsugekis his way to like, what is it? Is it the heaven?
Celestial?
Yeah, Celestial. Like he Totsugekis his way to Celestial in a video. He's like, well, this game's so easy, and he just goes Totsugeki, and then it's pretty hilarious actually.
Yeah, May's been nerfed since then, by the way.
Yeah, she
also did that at the pro level.
Yeah, she also
Totsugeki.
Dude, the Guilty Gear Strive community is so fucking lucky that they bitched hard enough to like nerf Potemkin after the first beta.
Oh man, I remember when that game came out and we had to play you and you were playing Potemkin.
It was awful.
Yeah, and I was
that
fucking you up.
That was not. Whoa!
It was terrible. Why do I lose 75% life from a grab? What is this game?
Hey,
it wasn't even a combo.
I didn't make the game.
Peak
I did
fun.
not make the game.
He just jumped in, took plus frames, and grabbed me, and I lost all my health. What happened? How I play game?
They nerfed my character. Man, Anji sucks in that game.
Oh.
Anji's real bad.
Oh.
I feel like half the cast in Strive can kind of be forgotten about. Like you've got Anji. I don't know if they ever improved Faust in a meaningful way.
I don't think they ever really want to improve Faust in that way because he's so gimmicky.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like you can only make him so good before he starts becoming real bullshit.
And you had him in Plus R and XR. They're like, all right, enough of that. I mean, Jacko. No one talks about Jacko anymore, even though she was like in the middle of the DLC, right?
Yeah,
she wasn't like too early.
Well, that's because Happy Chaos took all of her thunder.
Happy Chaos also took all the tournaments.
Happy Chaos took everything from everyone.
Happy Chaos took all the joy out of watching that game.
It did. It did. I didn't even tune in.
It took him so long to like do anything about him.
He's still a menace.
He is. Like,
because they didn't actually nerf him. They like rebalanced him. And so he still just has like a super AZ playstyle, just in a different way now.
Man, yeah, he kind of reminds me of like facing Zappa and Plus R. I hate Zappa so much. So annoying to fight that character. Testament too.
Yeah, it's almost.
Then again, Potemkin's like OD in that game, so if I get it, I win. So just getting it's impossible.
Run it back. I don't even play that game. The wound's still fresh. Yo, PolarBair, did you have anything you learned this week in fighting games? PolarBair? All right, I'm gonna go then. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a fairly anxious person. All right.
No.
And what?
It's crazy, right? So
news to me.
The one thing that, you know, I get anxious a lot of times and then I get frustrated. And they go hand in hand quite often. Right? So I've tried to do a few things to kind of flip this problem on its head. So I decided to pick up meditation. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? I'm serious. I decided to pick up meditation. I've done, you know, throughout my life, I've actually, you know, done meditation on and off. And I do find that it works if you do it on a regular basis, right? So
my Wi-Fi went out, so I'm on my phone now, just so you know.
All good, man. All good. So I picked up meditation, and so what I did there for about a week was I meditated, and then I went and I played Tekken. And I found that I was a lot more calm, actually, when I was playing the game. I was more calm. I was able to think a little bit better. Losing didn't bother me as much. I didn't get as anxious. So I was way more relaxed. I actually like went on a good 8 or 9 game tear there. After I started, yeah. So it's like you gotta look at it like this. It's the combination of playing a little bit every day and that, you know, practice of meditation that I think really helped. The other thing that I think helped me quite a bit was like changing, like just doing something to change your thought process, right? So the other thing I kind of added in there every once in a while was I did push-ups too. So like I'll just bust out like 10 push-ups before I start playing. And, just doing something that's more difficult than what it is that you're trying to do kind of makes them seem inconsequential in comparison. So I think I found, obviously, one, don't drink energy drinks while you're playing Tekken, because I drank 2 of those things and I had a bad time, right?
No, yeah, your heart rate's just way too high.
Right. I would say meditation beforehand and push-ups will definitely change the way you are thinking about the game. You're going to be more relaxed and, being in the moment of playing the game than, just being frustrated and anxious and whatever, letting outside things kind of come in. So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. But yeah, I thought
that's very cool.
Meditation.
Yeah, man. Mentality is everything. It really is. It's like 100% of everything that you do.
As practice. A defeatist, I feel that.
Right. So yeah, definitely give that a shot, guys. Yo, PolarBair, what did you learn in fighting games, man?
Recently, I guess I actually entered a Ragnar tournament yesterday, so I've been thinking about the way people, talk about neutral and how it doesn't exist in some games. And no, you can actually get a lot of mileage out of playing defensively in faster paced games. I think people don't realize that.
Right.
Yeah.
So to give context on Ragnar, this is a game from 96. It's pretty janky. It's got this everyone has a dive kick and this sort of upward dash that you can combo off of. And it's got an air dash, which is, hella early for air dashes. This is 2 years before the original Guilty Gear. And so you've only got forward air dash, but the fact that you have so many air options means that you can you can attack and then you can dive kick out of that and then just hold back in the air for a minute. I have a clip that I'll probably drop later that at one point I was using the upwards dash to catch someone dashing in after an air reset, and that was just super cool in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think it's people have to take the game for what it is and not just think, all right, well, this game is it's not ground based enough to have footsies or neutral, because that's just not true.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel like when people say oh, there's no footsies in the game, but there's no neutral, right? I think they're kind of I think they're probably just exaggerating more or less.
Yeah, I mean, unless for sure, maybe DVFZ, I can give that to DVFZ.
Oh, yeah, DVFZ.
I was literally what I was thinking about when I said that. But yeah.
Just down C, man. Just down C.
Just Dragon Rush.
Dragon Rush.
Man, that game is weird, man. I'm not.
The game is weird, but that game is fun if you don't take it seriously.
Yeah, just go Oonga Boonga, pick Krillin, throw rocks at people.
Pick Yamcha, make him your anchor, do a lot of damage, you win.
Yeah, just pick Team Scrub, man. Pick Krillin.
Pick Ultimate Gohan, make him your anchor, and have fun.
Go crazy.
That was always my anchor character, Ultimate Gohan.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, unironically, the reason I got good was because I just played a bunch of random games and kept at it. So I think that's also good, not just to have one game that you either force yourself to grind when you don't feel like it, or go months without playing. But it's better to have random games to mess around with where you don't care too much about results.
I mean, do you play a lot of 3D games? Because for me,
I don't.
For me,
I know yeah, I don't know much about Tekken. I've been interested in Virtua Fighter, but I haven't sat down and really practiced anything.
Yeah. For me, going from 3D to 2D is a mind fuck. A lot of times, because I'm just I'm doing stuff that shouldn't work or doesn't work in Tekken a lot of times. So it does mess with me often. That was the only time I can really say going from 2D to 2D isn't huge, but I don't know. When I took a break to play KOFXV away from Tekken 7, I came back and I was I forgot everything, and it felt like I chopped off my arm or something. I don't know. But your mileage may vary, man. Who knows? Like, I guess it all depends on you and your experience level. So did anyone have anything else they want to throw out there before we delve into the interview here?
Yeah, I do just want to finish up on that. I mean, now, 3D fighters, it's cool. I was getting back to my computer. 3D fighters, like, in the current, in the modern games, there's not a lot of options to choose from because they've all got delay now. So there's like Tekken 7, hopefully Tekken 8 gets it right. Soul Calibur 6. That's pretty much it, I guess. There's no, I guess Virtua Fighter 5 is out there, but that's like an old game that got a port, right?
Yeah.
But we've got Fightcade now, so.
Yes.
Yeah. And very little 3D representation on Fightcade. I think it's just the old Virtua Fighter games. Still.
They're Power Stone. And
yeah, we would have access to Air Guys now.
Yeah.
If you want to count that one.
Wait, I don't know if actually Duck Station rollback has been implemented into Fightcade 2 yet.
Oh.
Like fully. I think some games have like some rollback, but I don't think I think the idea of the Duck Station rollback is that they're working on it and then it's going to be thrown into Fightcade 2, but that's still in like beta form right now.
I'm just going to stay on my phone at this point. But yeah, the Duck Station's working pretty well. I mean, it does take a little work to set up. So, any barriers is definitely going to dissuade people.
Yeah.
But right now, Flycast works perfectly fine. And that's got at least, Soul Calibur. Trying to think what else. Virtua Fighter 3 and 4 are the big ones.
Wait, does the Flycast use, does that use the Naomi 1 and 2 as well?
Yeah, that's what it is. Naomi, okay. Dreamcast, anything like that. Atomic Wave, that's fun.
Yeah. Gotta get those Atwave ports on my Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's so cool that people are making ports to Dreamcast for some of these games.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy when it came out too, because nobody expected it. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, all of these Atomic Wave games, the Atomic Wave is literally the same hardware as a Dreamcast, so this can all be ported over. And it happened within like a year that almost all of the catalog of the Atomic Wave got ported into the Dreamcast.
Based Dreamcast.
They're like, yo, the Dreamcast? New games. Here you go.
New games.
I mean, how many people played Atomic Wave, really? You played Metal Slug 6? Nah. New to me.
No.
New to me, that's all that matters.
I love Metal Slug too, so,
Yeah, that's a good game. Except, man, the Neo Geo button layout. I don't know if I can do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's the Steam versions. You're fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
The rainbow configuration? Come on, man. What's the play on that? PolarBair?
Neo Geo was a very interesting system, right? Very interesting
at this point.
I did like their strategy. We'll just develop like all the games, and then you just swap out the cartridges within the cabinet.
Yeah.
It's actually really cost effective and a big reason why SNK is like really popular in certain parts of the world.
Mexico.
The Middle East.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, why? Like, let's think about it. Why did the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia why does he have ownership stake in the SNK today?
Because he has Orochi blood in him, and
not only does he have Orochi blood in him, but he has infinite money to spend on something that he loves, and to own it. That kind of egotistical shit.
Fair enough.
So if I had
more money
own a
than
fighting
sense.
game company, I would probably own Capcom, because they also own Mega Man, and I want Mega Man to be treated right.
What do you mean? We just got the Mega Man NT. I'm sorry, not NT. The Mega Man Battle Network collection.
There was a period of time where Mega Man was treated like doo-doo.
Still is, really.
Mega Man's still kind of treated like doo-doo.
Well,
Dude, I'm upset. I'm upset that Maverick Hunter X never happened. They had a working demo.
ZX where? More ZX where? Oh, we're just gonna end on a cliffhanger? Alright, cool.
Legends 3, let's get everyone excited for that and then just pull the rug out from underneath everyone.
Did you buy all the collections?
Did I buy all the collections?
Did you buy them?
I did not buy them.
Well, then we're never gonna get a new one. Okay? Thanks to you. Specifically.
Speaking of Mega Man Battle Network, strange little factoid that I figured out like a long time ago, and it's like it sounded so cool that I just haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently there's competitive Mega Man Battle Network 6.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. They developed
That's sick.
they developed like their own like rollback netcode for it. So it's a lot about like the actual skill in the game and actual like deck building with the chips. And I'm like, man, like
Sounds fun.
that does sound like a lot of fun.
Damn.
I just like, but it also sounds like a real bitch to get into.
Yeah.
Because that's like the niche of the niche of the niche.
Mega Man Battle Network 6. Yeah, I can't wait to play the guy who's like been waiting his whole life to show off in that game.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, I can't wait to show off to my friends. Yo, Polar Bear.
And the setups must go
Check out
crazy.
this
Yeah, what's up?
sick chip deck.
Okay, sorry. Did you kind of get your idea through with what you wanted to say, or before we move on? Because I know we kind of went on a bit of a tangent there. Before we delve into the
Yeah, I think it went well. It went through pretty well.
All right, man. So I suppose we can delve into the interview now. So Polar Bear, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the FGC?
Yeah, so I've always been a big gamer, right? So I think my first like competitive experience has been getting into Smash back in like high school, and I guess this was at the height of like the dock, and they're getting into Evo for the first time in a while in like 2013, 2014 era.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that was pretty fun, but I kind of stopped practicing in college because I was like more focused on my school at that point. Because Melee is a hard game to really play actively, especially when you're not like going to tournaments too regularly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun, especially now. Like now, Slippy is such a good platform for net play. It's like hard not to get back into it.
Man, if only another game could have Slippy like qualities.
64, right?
Brawl?
Like an ultimate edition of sorts, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, Smash Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but you know, after graduating, I had more free time. I got into fighting games. I'd always had a few friends that were like into fighting games that would like show me shit and kind of get my reaction to it, but I like had no idea what was going on. I watched a lot of like Super Turbo compilations from like old Evo, like 2007 or 2005, whatever.
Oh.
And that shit was so cool to me. So I like
That's
picked up
awesome.
ST, realized the game was hard. Kind of wasn't sure what to do for a while. Cause yeah, I mean those games are really unforgiving. Even just like doing special moves at that point was too much for me.
Yeah, and depending on the character you pick, you're just really screwed.
It's like, yeah, some of the inputs don't work quite right. Some of them are like the charge times are all different for each character. It's all weird.
I didn't know that one.
There's
That's hilarious.
okay, so here's the thing about that confuses me about when people say that. Are they talking about the natural slowdown in the game? Or are they talking about the game without slowdown in general? Because there are times where if you hit somebody, there's like there's a frame dip in when the charging works, or the charge timing of something.
It's a bit of both, right? Because I mean, every character well, not every character. Usually it's 60. Some of the moves are like, 66 frames, 70 frames. I think, God, I could go pull this up right now. I think Bison has like a move that has a 78 frame charge timer, something stupid.
Oh, wow.
But then, yeah, some of the moves also just have like a very short input window. I think like Fei Long's Chicken Wing requires you to hit up, forward, and kick on the same frame. Otherwise, you'll just get either his command normal if you hit it on forward, or you'll just jump. Stuff like that is a little hard to get the hang of.
Like,
but eventually,
Lost to the Void.
Yeah, I mean the wiki explains it better than I do. But hold on, let me look. Yeah, Bison's double knee press is 78 frames back. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess they thought it would be unfair because it's like, it is, slightly plus on block, it low crushes. I guess when you put that into perspective, it's like, yeah, this move is really good. But I don't know if that's the way to handle it. But like ST as it is like a very good game, to be honest. People who are used to newer fighting games like to rag on it, but I mean it's a pretty well put together game for what it is.
It's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's what matters at the end of the day.
I'm more of an
like
enjoyer
people
of hyper fighting myself, but that's just me.
Yeah, HF
Never
is
had
good.
the pleasure of playing it, so
I feel like people have been warming up on hyper fighting recently. There's been a few tournaments here and there, mostly online. But as for me, like I went to Combo Breaker, and I think at that year, that was 2019, they had the demo for the new Sam Show. They also had the Sam Show 2 in like an arcade room.
Mm-hmm.
And I really fell in love with Sam Show at that point because it's like, all right, this is a game that's slower, focused on neutral, kind of. I mean, you learn that to lie later, right? But slower, easier to play is the main thing.
Yeah. I've honestly, you're not the first person I've met who learned Sam Show and was like, learned a lot from just playing Sam Show. I think that game really forces you to learn the basics in footsies just because of the nature of the gameplay.
Yeah, and I mean, the game is also like, most of them provide a lot of good ways to break from footsies in a way where it's like everything has a pretty reasonable risk and reward. Like if you play Sam Show 5 Special, that's probably my favorite one. You've got all the movement options. You've got hop, roll, duck in place. And you can like do specials out of the tail end of all of those. So it's always kind of a guessing game when people are trying to punish you.
Yeah. But yeah, like Sam Show is like an amazing game. So you would say basically just going to Combo Breaker is what got you into the FGC, you'd say? Just like going to Combo Breaker, playing Sam Show?
Yeah, that super solidified it. And I mean, the good thing about Combo Breaker, and this was in the old venue, the what's it called? I forget, but it's like the golf course, right?
Yeah.
And it was a pretty nice venue, and there were all these different like side rooms and hallways you would have to go down to get to places. And that meant you were always going to get exposed to like all the weird niche side games that people were playing. I remember entering this one room and it was like full of people who were there for of all things, Kaneko Man Muscle Grand Prix, which is
love
like,
that game.
Oh my
I don't
god!
remember what it's for. Is it
It's so
PS2?
good. Yeah, it's
GameCube?
PS2. It's PS2.
But yeah,
PS2.
yeah, and that's like one of those games. It's kind of, it's like, for most people, it gets like lost in the ocean of not just fighting games, but like good games from that generation, because there's just so many games that obviously people have fond memories of from the PS2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there they were,
That's actually one of the fighting games I love to like randomly look up and be like, tournament, Kaneko Man Muscle Grand Prix 2 tournament, and I watch them do like all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, this is sick. I need to go play Kaneko Man Nisei, and I need to go do more cartwheels. His cartwheel is ridiculous. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but essentially at times it's like an OTG unblockable. It's stupid good.
Oh yeah.
And just watching the strategies of what people do. Yeah, it's definitely
yeah. I mean,
awesome.
that's a strong combination of words. OTG unblockable.
Yeah.
Probably like the top 5 funniest things in fighting games.
You get a knockdown and it's literally just free damage all day, and you can like sometimes do it twice in a row. It's obnoxious.
I'm mad just thinking about it.
Perfect. So and then you're kind of saying that you got through that, you got back in the FGC, and then you got into being a TO. So how did you get into being a TO? I know you said, you were doing some online events as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, 2019, I didn't give me much time to really experience offline because we all know what happened. But I started picking up. I started picking up Sam Show 3 because there was. So this is kind of a long story, and I don't remember all of it, but I know that at that point there was like basically one Sam Show Discord, and it was focused on like 5 special because that was a classic one people played, and 7 because it was a new one. And that Discord was not moderated well, to be honest, so I kind of fell out of it. I left. There was another Discord that someone else had started in response to that kind of embraced all the games, called Samurai Friends. And that was like just obviously a super nice Discord. And the main thing was like this scene popped up around Samurai Showdown 3, which is kind of this black sheep of the franchise for a bunch of reasons. Basically, drastic gameplay changes from 2, which is like the big classic one everyone loves.
Yeah, 2's really fun.
Yeah, 3 is great. It's littered with infinites. It's got air blocking, which is something you'd never think about putting in Sam Show, but they did it.
How do you?
So
and yeah, go ahead.
So wait, okay, so yeah, go ahead, Quinn. What were you gonna say, man, about air blocking?
I was just gonna say, like, how do you even like kill people if there's air blocking in Sam Show?
Yeah, I mean, like... they had just enough sense to like make most grand normals air unblockable, and a handful of specials too, depending on character.
Oh, okay.
They did not give everyone an air throw, sadly. That's like the number one. I could probably make a list of like 20, 30 games that like give air blocking and then don't give everyone an air throw. And that is like a cardinal sin of game design. It's like you need to open people up. But 3 is weird because it's like obviously the way it works is like back hits have more hits done. So that means if you cross someone up and you have a new move in this game, a new type of movement, you have circle step, which is you press A, B, and if you're close to someone, you'll just shuffle around them like almost like it's a 3D fighter. And if you hit them from the back, you get new combos. A lot of characters have loops. That's like, close B, like Genjo can loop close B card 214P or 214 slash. You can just loop that and walk someone to the corner and kill them for that. So
dumb.
It's very like, people call it like anime Sam Show, HNK Light, stuff like that. It is a crazy game. And at the same time, pokes are a lot better in that game. Like frame data in general is a bit faster than 2, which was already like a good deal faster compared to like
1.
Compared to like 5 special or 7. So it's very weird. But the point is, like, I TO'd for Sam Show 3 for a bit. I wasn't like the first person to start that, but I took over for a friend who was kind of having a rough time, and we streamed Quarantine Report, I think 2 and 3. So that was like an online charity event that kind of popped up. I think at this point they've gone back to doing offline events. I'm not sure exactly, but it's been a while since the last one.
So, just basically the quarantine, the Rona gave you the chance to be a TO and learn how to do T.O.ing. And that's kind of translated to you becoming an offline TO.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, T.O.ing it's not easy, but it's a lot easier online when you don't got to worry about setups, for sure.
Yeah, that makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah. Like, if the setup doesn't work online, right, it's their problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
True.
And even like, I still only have basically 1 or 2 setups. I have my laptop and I have my PS4 for basically anything I want to run. So I got to rely on people if I'm going to something offline that they're going to bring setups that I can use. And that's always how it works in the FGC. I think a lot of other games, like if you're, most games have like some sort of pro circuit going on and they have setups provided, or if someone wants to host something themselves, they'll like bring all the setups, right? I feel like community source stuff doesn't happen on the same scale it does in the FGC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have an example of that completely backfired in one of the locals I go to here in SoCal.
Mhm.
We had 20 people for Tekken, but it was a dojo event, and the big thing about dojo events is whatever system that you're going to play on, like the rest of the setups have to like have like that same setup. So if you're playing on PS4, then everyone's playing on PS4.
Right.
And plus, I think they say you can't play on PC anyway. TWT is weird. Tekken World Tour is weird. So we only had like 2 setups that night. We had to get through like a double elimination tournament with like 20 people in it, and it took fucking forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Sounds like it takes
I got
awful.
knocked into losing, and I had to wait like 40 minutes until my next match. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's terrible.
Y'all
Yeah.
warmed up
And
still?
Oh no, I got double no round brown like really quickly, and like, you know what? I'm just ready to go home. I have an hour drive back.
So,
Oh, God.
like what you're saying is my lobbies aren't really that big of a weight then, right? You know, like
They're not that
Wow.
they're not that big of a weight, but it's not, you know, I'm not winning money by winning
you're winning
or
brownie,
trying to win your luck.
you're winning brownie points in my heart. So
What do you mean? You just shit talk me.
who, me or him?
You.
Oh, well, that's just because. So anyway,
winning
so
shit-talking points.
so T.O.ing, right? So you said you started T.O.ing, and then you kind of went offline. And so what has been the challenge of like T.O.ing offline now that you settled into things now, other than sort of, you know, the setups being a big problem?
Being forced to use star.gg.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a
aside from that, like that, because that's a big one. Because I mean, all my other stuff, I've been used to running on Challenge, because that just it's a lot simpler to use out of the box, so to
It
speak.
is.
I mean, people just sign up their account. Takes a second to make one. There's no, you never run into technical issue. Well, almost never. Sometimes you do, but it's a lot easier to figure out how to fix things, I think.
Can we just point out really quick on how annoying those tournament websites are to use? And I don't know why they're so difficult in general. And Challenge wasn't annoying, but I felt like they were always annoying. Like it never feels straightforward. You know,
No, and I agree with that.
yeah, never feels like you can just like click onto it. You always need some kind of like instruction on how to like get into the tournament, and I don't know. I don't use it enough to be knowledgeable about it.
Yeah, it
Feel-
does feel like
In
there's
my
always,
I
time
didn't have
using
any issues like
Challenge,
that.
like
it does
yeah,
feel like
it
there's
was-
always a couple of extra clicks that don't really need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you should just be able to go create a profile, click the tournament, sign up, you know, whatever, pay the entry fee. I don't know. You're in. Bingo bango. It feels like that's how it should be. So you're saying like using Start GG's like been a difficulty. So do you have like a local where you're working as a TO now, or just any kind of bigger tournaments or bigger events?
Yeah, not at the moment. I've been pretty wrapped up with like home life pretty much. But the big thing I'm looking forward to, UMAD Ultimate Montreal Air Dashers. This is like a yearly event they do. So I have to travel out, and they run all sorts of side games. So like my first one was last year. I felt very welcomed as like a new TO and just like a player in general. So that was a really fun experience. And that's basically the one event I'm working up to. I mean, I like to TO local stuff more often when I get the chance. But yeah, that's basically the event I'm focused on.
All right, awesome, man. So why don't you? And I know like your main game is Cyberbots. I mean, I know it's one of your main games.
Yeah, that's it's always a problem.
So can you tell us like a little bit about Cyberbots and, you know, how you got into it and sort of like what sets it apart from other fighting games? Because I know it's kind of one of those games that is like, it's old enough to where not enough people have played it. I've seen plenty of Cyberbots. I've put my hands on it, but I wouldn't say that I'm, you know, any sort of an expert, but I would love to hear what you think about it.
Also, wasn't Cyberbots like only released in Japan for like 25 years?
I don't think so, but I know it was really rare outside of Japan, so it's a good chance like you've gone without seeing it, and that's like
I'm trying to get this right.
experience.
Like that character, that random character Jin in Marvel vs. Capcom, he's from Cyberbots, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so
Jin Satome.
He's what little I know about Cyberbots.
Yeah, and it's funny. The pilots in Cyberbots don't actually matter gameplay wise. You can choose whoever you want. It doesn't affect anything. Which there's a bunch of games where like you can pick a pilot and that does affect things. Even like older games, like there's one game a couple friends of mine T.O. called One Must Fall 2097 for DOS. Like that's really obscure, I know, but it's a cool game that also like
you said
has
DOS,
mecha pilot.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah. I mean that has a side event at Combo Breaker, so people will know about it now to some level. I'm not kidding. You can look that up.
People will look at it.
I think I've played that game.
I think people have like a responsibility to watch side game. I mean, look, if there's something you've never seen before, you know, why not check it out? At least like put it on for, you know, 10-15 minutes while you're I don't know, waiting for something to cook, like the pizza earlier, you know. Can't hurt.
You had to make me think about that, didn't you? I was just sitting there. So delicious.
How's that pizza, dude?
It smells great.
Wave your hand over it, see if it's still warm.
I'm not gonna lie. Out of all the games that you picked, I thought you were gonna talk about what's that Dreamcast game? The one with the mech fighter. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Virtual On?
No, not Virtual On. Sorry.
Okay.
Techromancer, I think.
Techromancer.
I think that's the one.
Yes, that is actually.
I think that also has. I think that also has a Cyberbots cameo. I think Jin and Bloody are in that game, right?
They might be. I don't. It's been a while since I played it, but if I was going to play a mech fighting game, it was going to be Techromancer, because that's the only one I kind of know about.
Yeah. There's a lot of solid options. I mean, Gundam Wing Endless Duel on SNES, that's pretty good.
Yeah, or the
Gundam Battle Assault 2.
Yeah, and that's PSX, so that's gonna be the hot thing soon.
The game's fire.
You know, after DOS, after DOS gets done, you know, get done burning through those DOS fighters. So you kind of got into Cyberbots. Like, what? How did you find out about Cyberbots? Like, what was?
I think pretty much everything I find out about games is like I see someone else posting about it, and it's like, what is that? I should try it out. And for a while, Cyberbots was like a very small game, you know, and because I'm sure I played it back in like 2020 or something, and there wasn't really. I knew like one or two people who played it, so that wasn't really enough to keep playing it consistently, right? That was always the hard thing. But now that the Capcom Fighting Collection came out, like, been almost a year, I think. I think it came out like last July or something.
Yep.
And that was obviously a big deal. You know, now people are finding out what Cyberbots is. So that motivates me to start hosting tournaments on Fightcade. Because, I mean, look, collections like that are good. It's a solid collection. I think it's worth buying. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
At the end of the day, I mean, right now, I don't think anyone on it is actively searching for Cyberbots games. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, right now it's got like a small community on Fightcade, and I created a video that was like a beginner's guide that kind of covered the basic controls and mechanics. And I mean, it's pretty much an anime fighter from like 1995. It's kind of weird. I feel like people at the time reviewing it didn't really understand how to play it. Yeah. And I don't blame them for it. I mean, it is
It
tricky
looks
to get
very
the handle on.
surprisingly deep. Like
Yeah.
surprisingly deep.
And you know, I actually watched your tutorial and I was like, oh, this has some stuff. This has
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. This is basically one player Marvel.
It's got full-on AOA dashes for most of the cast. Let me see, because yeah, a few characters have like double jumps instead, and a couple more characters have the full-on like Sentinel hover mechanic.
Mhm.
The game actually looks really fun, and I remember enjoying it when I have the Sega Saturn version.
Oh yeah, Saturn and PSX have a extra character too. They have a Zero Goki, I think, right?
Zigoki. That character's cool.
He's sick. He's not even like broken. He's good. He's definitely like solid. I saw a tier list from some Japanese players that had him at like A. So it's like he's pretty good. And he's not too good to be legal.
I mean, yeah, but
If Japan made it, it's gotta be true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds like I mean, the arcade version's the way to go anyway for the most part, but probably not for like mostly for convenience reasons, I imagine.
Yeah, I guess it's like the console ports are like a small downgrade. I think someone mentioned exactly like what changed. Hold on, yeah. Saturn version has better animation compared to PS, so some moves are harder to react on PS.
Right.
There's some small bugs. I think it says in Saturn version you press boost and an attack at the same time. The attack doesn't come out, while it does in other versions. That's a pretty minor glitch you're probably not going to run into in like casual gameplay.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of what sets it apart is like being an early on like anime fighter. Obviously, like the robots and you know, I almost said like picking up other armor parts, but that's not part of it. That was part of the beat 'em up that you were talking
that
about.
was a beat 'em up it was based on, which that's also cool. I haven't played it yet, but I mean it just looks so cool.
It was also featured on the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection.
Yep.
I was like,
think it's
wait,
cool that they like
because they reused the same sprites of one of the fucking bosses and you as a playable character in Cyberbots.
Yeah, and they have to come up with like all the different parts that you can swap out, and they eventually created like full individual characters out of those parts, which you know it makes sense. Like looking at it, it was a good way to like kind of repurpose that into a new game. But it's impressive like how well it works and how natural it looks.
Yeah. Anyway, so a little bit on the side, like kind of very away from fighting games. Have you always been interested in mecha? Out of curiosity, is it like mecha anime and like movies? Like, what do you think drew you into the game in particular?
I mean, it's cool. It's not a super big influence for me, but I definitely feel that like I owe something to the genre, and I gotta like start looking into the Gundam and classics like that.
Ooh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I know you said 2007 and old in the same sentence. So I think you know, it hurt a little bit inside because me and Quinn are. And
I need to go take my medication.
We need to go take our meds after this. So you know, it hurt a little bit. I'm just saying. But yeah, like we grew up in the mecha anime, you know, renaissance of the early 2000s and Toonami.
Yep.
And so, you know, definitely if you need some recommendations, you know, Gundam Wing, amazing show.
Yeah, they had a new Gundam series like every 2 years. And I'm like, God damn.
Big O.
They had a good streak on that.
Yeah, what is going on outside my house? Somebody's like yelling. Anyway, sorry.
Cut the feed.
What's that?
I said cut the feed.
Cut the feed. It's honestly, it's kind of creepy. But so you wouldn't say that mecha's been a huge influence. It's just the fighting game's just been so dope to you. You're just like, yes, this is my game. Why do you think, and this is something that kind of came up in previous podcasts, why do you think older fighting games still have a community? Why do you think they still hold up, compared to other competitive games like NBA 2K or Madden or like sports titles where, or even shooters where it's like they're just moving on to the next, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In a way, it's like, I think people are just more willing to go with the flow on other genres. So like shooters, obviously you're going to buy the new one because that's where everyone is. And that's kind of what matters. The specifics of like the gameplay don't matter as much. You're going to, even if you don't like a change they made, you're probably going to get over it, right? But I feel like people, when it comes to fighters, always been more opinionated, I guess. And maybe like back then availability in the arcades was also a factor. I guess that's probably another one.
Yeah. I think a big part of it too could just be subsystems. Because what makes a fighting game particularly unique is not just the fact that you get to smash buttons, right? Is the fact that there's a subsystem that goes with it that makes that game have a unique flavor. That's unlike any other game that exists, right?
Yeah.
Like I know one game
you might have like meter, EX moves in fighting games, and you can compare that to like kill streaks in shooters or something. But I feel like there's just so many different paths that games took where it's like you have this mechanic that exists in one game that doesn't really get replicated anywhere else in fighting games. So like Cyberbots has one of those where I guess it's not totally true, but it's you can cancel normals into a charge, which charges up your meter for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And people can use that to like create pressure and like make moves more plus on block. But when I describe it, I'm remembering like, oh yeah, the original Guilty Gear also had that, but they dropped it pretty quickly because it was pretty broke and opened up infinites and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think any other game really has like that where it can be used to create pressure. I feel like a lot of games like they have key charge and stuff, but that's kind of like you're backing off, and instead of going for Oki or something, you're just kind of choosing the trade-off to charge up your meter instead.
Yeah.
It's not really the same thing,
Not at all.
I mean, it was like how I said earlier with Anji Mito, right? I don't like Anji Mito and Strive. Like, he's automatically inferior to his plus R version, right? Instantly was a worse version of the character. Like, I don't care anymore.
I mean, most characters were just because of the move pruning. So, like...
I mean, Soul Bad
Bro,
Guy.
Potemkin is trash compared to how he was in Plus R.
Yeah. Soul Bad Guy.
I think it's funny because, like...
Exard, yeah.
Because, like, Pot always kind of had a rough time. He was good in, like, Accent Core or whatever way back when, but I feel like ever since then it's been downhill. And Strivepod is kind of funny,
Strivepod is very funny. Like, he's the biggest noob killer, but once people figure out how to play the game, there's ain't shit he can do.
I don't know. I think the conversation is changing since Snake Eyes pulled off that win. But
well, yeah, but he's like a grappler, like fucking god.
Yeah.
It's like That's my other thing. I think people talk about talent. People talk about talent, right? But I think anyone can condition themselves, can train to become good. It's just like, it's very hard to see that kind of route with Potemkin in a game where, Nago and Ram exist. Mm-hmm. Happy Chaos now.
And still Chip.
I also think like we're talking about two different things, because it's like, it's sort of like, yes, in the right hands, any grappler can be a threat. And it's like, it's like anything. It's like top tier only really matters at the highest level, right? Or tier lists only matter at the highest level. Will it bump you up a little bit at first? Absolutely. Will it help you? Yeah, at first it will. But, things will even out, I think. And it's just all matchup knowledge. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's hard to compare the accomplishments of people like Snake Eyes or even Little Majin, and then like spreading that out to being like, yeah, everybody can do that. You know what I mean? I think it's is it a stretch? You guys think it's a stretch?
Little Majin hasn't done much in a while, so
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just goes to like big domestic tournaments now. I haven't seen him out and about.
To be fair, I haven't heard about Snake Eyes since Street Fighter 4.
Well, I do remember I did follow Snake Eyes a lot, and for like half of Street Fighter 5, and then nothing. And then he would like show up every so often playing like Super Turbo.
Yeah.
Basically Mega Man X8.
I guess it's like a question of time for people like Snake Eyes, because they've been playing just so long, and it is hard to catch up with that kind of experience.
Yeah. Especially when they just don't stop working at it.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's also an element of just like realizing that fighting games are like kind of anything in life. When you have a craft, it's like you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. As long as you kind of keep going, you'll break through those plateaus and sort of like move on, and you'll be irrelevant and then relevant again, and so it's just sort of like keeping going. And I was reading this book the other day about business, and this guy being a writer, and how he was like a writer for 10 years and didn't have anything successful until like 10 years in, he got something that kind of took off.
It's his break.
And then his next book crashed, right? But it was his book after that did, well, so on and so forth. It's sort of like, it's inspirational, but it's also like sounds really tiring, which is why...
Sounds soul crushing, actually.
It's like a lot of people are like, well, this isn't for me. I'm not good at it. And it's like, well, yeah, you haven't put your time in. You don't really know how good you can actually get if you don't try. A lot of people don't have that. Yeah.
The reward, I guess, is not immediately obvious. I mean, you talk about something like, and I mean, it's the same for something like music compared to, say, cooking, where like cooking is also a tangible skill that you have to practice at, but cooking, you get reward with food right away. Other things, it's like, if you're not doing something for a job, like music or fighting games or anything like that, then it's kind of like, well, it's kind of harder. I think some people are less inclined to kind of find reward personally, just kind of from their own accomplishments.
Yeah, I mean, it's also that, and it depends on the people you're surrounded with too. There are a lot of people, even maybe your significant other or someone, maybe your parents or something, that'll be like, no, this isn't for you. You're bad at this. And it's like, well,
I want to try.
I mean, I haven't put my 5 to 10 years in. Can you give me and it's like 5 to 10 years, you could have went to college in that time. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's sort of like,
you could be a doctor in 5 to 10 years. I get it.
It's like, it's not even a linear progression either. Like you learn and process stuff when you're on the off hours, so to speak. I think that's why some people will like improve rapidly in 2-3 years, and people will say, well, they're just talented. No, it's just
they just worked.
It's kind of their method, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think
some people just sleep on it and then improve, right?
Yeah.
I do think that some people are inclined to learn faster and become better than other people are. Quicker.
Yeah, it's complicated, right?
There's also the aspect of like, well, did you actually try? Did you actually put the effort in? Yeah, they might be more talented than you in some ways, but I mean, you have to separate yourself from what other people are doing and just be like, okay, they're doing their own thing. They're going to get better at their own time, but you got to focus on you, because you're the only one that can control the outcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's very easy to, compare yourself, and comparison is the thief of joy. So, I definitely see that aspect of things where it's like, oh yeah, this person has a bigger stream than you, or they got like 1,000 followers in 2 months, and it's like, Yeah, but they also did a bunch of stuff that I would never do, like wear a maid outfit or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
so
I would
easy.
never.
Works in the background.
I would never
so easy
want
to,
do that. Yeah,
to
comparison.
experience that with content too. Like you look at, like right now I'm going more into graphic design because initially I went to school for game development. I found out that programming is kryptonite to me, and I guess I don't really have the drive to like be a solo dev, and I don't know if I like how AAA games are going.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know what to do now. I haven't really sat down and worked on modeling or anything like that in a couple of years. So it's like, okay, I'll go back to college. I'll take graphic design seriously and see what I can do with that. And now I'm like looking at stuff I'm making now this year, and I'm thinking this looks really nice. And that's just kind of how you have to take it. You can look at someone else making nicer things at you, and either you can go, well, I have no hope of reaching that level, or you can start working on it. That's what really matters.
I think also there's an element of, yeah, like this might suck, but is it worth sucking through, like to you? And
damn, okay.
Just like, like hold on, give me a second. You may not have found that thing yet, is what I'm trying to say. Like, have you tried all, like you're trying different things, which I think is the most important thing, is like you're like, yeah, this is for me. I don't, this is difficult enough to be like, yeah, I don't like certain aspects of it. Yeah, but I'll embrace the suck of whatever this is. And like some things just aren't worth that. You know what I'm trying to say? For me, even for you, like, for you, you're saying like, yeah, coding is my kryptonite. Yeah, that's not worth the suck for you. You know what I mean? It's not worth the embracing of it.
I think I'd rather take a more optimistic view and be that, well, you think your stuff might suck, right? Maybe in more realistic terms, you just haven't found like the niche where your stuff fits. Like you haven't found your audience and stuff or something like that.
Yeah. And another thing.
Wait, are we talking about content or, well, hold on. So
it could be anything, honestly. Like art,
the question
games, content.
The question is about also, setting yourself up for success and being patient. And I mean, like, before I used to like really seriously do research and dig into references for like inspiration. I used to kind of just do stuff that I had already seen or that I had seen recently and like thought looked cool. But now I'm like looking, going onto the Internet Archive and like looking up stuff from the era, from like the 90s, the 2000s, looking at like gaming magazines and stuff to get inspired for something I'm working on now, where I'm trying to make like a sort of guidebook for Cyberbots to hand out at events, because I've seen people do that in Japan. I saw I think Justin Wong posted one a while ago from the Rumblefish 2 that he got at like Evo Japan 2020. And that was so interesting to me. Like, anyone could make something like that if they felt like putting the time in. It'll be helpful. It'll make an impression because you got to print something like that out. That's something you can hold that only so many of exist.
Right.
And something about that was just pretty inspiring to me.
Okay.
That's a really good idea to just like hand out little pamphlets, essentially. Like, hey, this game's pretty cool.
Yeah, like Japan just has a really strong, I guess, fandom culture. But even putting it like that feels like underplaying it a bit. Like Dojin stuff is huge. I follow people like write about that kind of stuff in like anime gaming circles in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Just because your favorite anime or manga's ended doesn't have to actually end, kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, it's sort of like Dragon Ball has like the most outrageous like fan projects and like fan fiction that people just write and make and illustrate, that like so many people tell me has like fantastic storylines and stuff like that I like 4 or 5 are going on right now that like take the ideas of like Super and things that happen in Z and they just like run off with it, and it sounds really interesting. I'm just impressed with how passionate people are about, you know, mediums or anime or whatever it may be.
Yeah, Dragon Ball especially is just like, it's a national phenomenon. It's like a religion. It's a sport like especially in Mexico and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one of the only reasons that we ever got Dragon Ball here in the States was because it was so popular in South America, South and Central America. It was like, it was just, it blew up there, and so it's existed there before it was here in the States. And so like, I remember, I think I told this on the podcast before, but one of my best friends growing up is from Guatemala, and he told me a story of like watching the Tree of Might with his dad when he was like 5 years old, when he was in Guatemala. And like I was like, oh, what? How was it? I was like, what do you mean it was there when you were, you know, when you were a little kid? Why? How? That's crazy.
So wholesome.
It's wholesome. It's so wholesome. I also remember him telling me stories of like doing beer runs, because it's Guatemala and kids can go buy beer. They're like, yo, go buy me some beer. And he just goes out, buys some beer.
So wholesome.
Wholesome. Here you go. You gotta tip the scales, my guy. So basically saying like, you think that's kind of what keeps you coming back to, you know, the fighting games in general, is sort of, or you know, Cyberbots or these niche fighting games, is just sort of like the impact you feel like you might have on the community, you think?
Yeah, and it's like the kind of dedicated fandom there is really heartwarming, because I mean, people will, you know, improve at this and share ideas, and it's just completely passion based. There's no like chasing metrics, there's no dunking on other people, because if there was, that would kill the game out of the scene off pretty quickly.
So what you're saying is,
and I've seen that happen like with Tekken, some games.
Gotcha.
Oh,
tragic, but
Tekken's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just
fine.
Key charge on people. So I'm sorry. So yeah, you were saying like other games you've seen, like you know, it kind of hurt the scene is with bigger scenes, you know, like dunking on people, and sort of like the ego trip is, you know, sort of hurting.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in the long run, like it won't kill off a game, but it'll definitely like lead to diminished interest. I mean, there's not a lot of things that I have experience with firsthand in that regard. I've just seen people talk about like, yeah, I saw someone post about, you know, JoJo's ASB All-Star Battle, and how like some big content creator was talking about it, like just looking at it, not even playing it, and saying like, this looks like a, you know, an arena fighter, and it's not at all. And that kind of, you know, influenced people to not try the game, and that probably did, you know, just seeing that out of context. And I feel for people who have to like fight an uphill battle against that. It's not going to kill a scene, but it is going to like hamper people getting into it.
You know, that's actually, for me, that's been one big lesson I've learned this year, is arena fighters, as much as people like to shit on them, they're fighters just like every other fighting game. And they have this, a lot of them have the same amount of depth as like Street Fighter 2. And it's just sort of, it kind of comes down to like, have you actually delved into the game other than, you know, playing it a few times with your friends? Because like one thing, this Tenkaichi series, I completely wrote those games off. But like, I went to the Tenkaichi 2 Discord and like took a lesson from somebody. And I was like, what do you mean? There's canceling? There's like flight cancels. There's like, you know, there's all this stuff. There's like lots of movement options. It's insane. But I can definitely see how, like, I can also see why people would think that, because I have thought that for such a long time. But I'm kind of now at the place now where I'm like, okay, it's Arena Fighter, I'm gonna give it a chance. Yeah, I don't mind, you know. But I'm not gonna shit on anybody for, like, you know, liking Xenoverse 2 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's only like when people say, you know, who asked for a 2D fighter in Dragon Ball, where it's like, well, a lot of people are having fun with it. Because that's something, there's kind of a lot of like tension between, I guess, Xenoverse fans and DBFC. I guess not really anymore. I think people have kind of gotten over it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that shit was everywhere, like during the previews and up to the launch.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then I suppose like the last question here is, do you have any like other hobbies or interests outside of fighting games? I know you said like you did some programming.
Yeah, I mean, I was never good at programming, but other than that, you know, every year recently I've been starting a garden in my backyard, and that's been a fun experience for sure.
Hey.
I don't know if we're gonna get that going this year, to be honest. It's been extra rainy here, to be honest. It was like hot for a week back in April. I think like this first week of April, it climbed up to, you know, 30 Celsius, which is like, I think 86 Fahrenheit. Yeah. So it was like pretty warm up here. And then it's been like cold and rainy the last couple weeks. But yeah, other than that, not much really. I mean, I've been listening to more music recently. I've been getting into like J-pop.
Hey,
Nothing wrong with that. I love me some J-pop.
you have any recommendations?
Masayoshi Takanaka is definitely like he's got so many good albums. All of Me definitely you know, top 5 for me. I don't know if I've ever sat down and like made a list or stuff like that. I just kind of listen to stuff on and off, but it's a really good one.
Gotcha. All right. So, did you guys have a chance to check out any of the news with Street Fighter 6 here recently?
I saw
Yes.
I saw the I saw like the showcase after the fact, and then a little fucking big announcement earlier this week on Twitter, and I'm like, oh shit.
Number one, Akuma looks sick. Absolutely, like probably his best design yet, to be honest. He looks so
really
sick.
good.
Well, I was thinking.
I want to see it in the game style though.
Yeah, that's always a test, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Street Fighter 6 art style has been kind of hit or miss. I feel like in areas it's pretty strong. Depends on the character, I guess. You know, I feel like people have warmed up on Cammy. Kimberly looks good. Even Ken, people weren't a fan of Ken at the start, but he looks fine. People love Jamie.
People seem pretty warm on Cammy from the start. I don't know.
For everyone,
Yeah,
Cammy,
probably.
For
I feel
everyone,
like,
Yeah.
all right, go ahead.
yeah, I feel like, yeah, maybe just like small, you know, loud minority of Twitter users who kind of always have to make a stink about that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, I'm sure everyone liked it when it was revealed.
I mean, for every one Cammy, you have Luke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. Sometimes you got to get some Popeye arms in there. Man, what is with that? Man, I have such a problem.
Luke's heinous arms.
Does anybody have like an issue with character design, and does it divert you guys from actually playing that character?
100%.
Yes, it does. That's a big reason why I didn't play Street Fighter 4 until like AE 2012.
Wow, really?
Street Fighter 4
to this
is
day, I will say Street Fighter 4 looks like shit. It looks so bad. It's so dumb. I always hated how that game looks.
Damn.
And then they made like Cross Tekken, which looked way worse.
Oh man,
And
I
then
saw someone
and
post
then I
about.
started playing Ultra.
I saw someone post about how horrible Kuma looked in that game.
He
Fucking
looked
Google
bad.
eyes.
I actually disagree with you that it looks bad. I actually really loved the design of Street Fighter 4. It's just goes to show you how different tastes are. But
I mean, yeah, it's okay. It's okay for both of us to be wrong on this. I'll go. Just leave it up in the air. You decide, everyone, who's right.
you decide. No, I don't know. Like I actually really like the design of Street Fighter 4, but I also feel like Street Fighter 4 is the reason why I love the FGC and what got me into it. So it holds like a special place in my heart.
Which is interesting because I'm on like the opposite parallel where Super Smash Brothers Melee was like the reason why I got into this shit in the first place. And then Street Fighter was just a game that I've played forever.
I'm right there with you, Breezels. Only I just didn't play much Street Fighter. It was just a lot of Melee.
A lot of Melee.
My hands are broken.
Yep. I feel like a lot of 2000s games have aged pretty well for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Melee definitely a lot of like basically anything. Well, most like GameCube games, PS2 games have aged pretty well.
Yeah, CVS 2, Marvel 2. Could go
I'm
on.
trying to think of like 3D games from that era. I guess was it Virtua Fighter 4? When did that come out?
Virtua Fighter 4 came out on the PS2.
Early 2000s.
So that was 2001. Yeah, and that game looks fantastic.
Yeah, Virtua Fighter 4 is dope.
Yeah, Virtua Fighter 4, like all of those games are great. It's a shame that they don't currently have like a stronghold on, any kind of like space in the FGC, but
yeah, I feel like if there's any game that you can kind of sell on being simple but like just flashy enough to be interesting, I feel like Virtua Fighter is right in that ideal spot, but it's no new game.
Yeah, like there hasn't been a new Virtua Fighter. Like when I say new Virtua Fighter, it's like
new
because like new like
actual.
Yeah,
game.
it's been like what, like almost like 18 years.
God, yeah, 5 came out in 2006.
Yeah, it's like
so it's been all like upgrades to that. That's wild.
That's freaking crazy.
I mean,
that's the last one that was released. It's not like the community is like, what, the new ones are awful. Let's go back to the old one, like what a lot of the Smash people did with Melee.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's just it. And so if you haven't figured out, Virtua Fighter 5 yet at this point, that's kind of on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even like about the game. It's about the kind of the environment. It's about the currentness of the game, like people getting into a game that's older and like because Virtua Fighter 5, I guess Ultimate Showdown, right, is still limited to PS4, right?
It's still limited to PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you want to play. So here's the thing. You can play Virtua Fighter, any version of Virtua Fighter 4, like Final Showdown. You can play. It's the same game. It has the moves have all the same frame data. So the only thing is that Virtua Fighter 4 Ultimate Showdown is actually just a full remake. I know people think it's a port. It's not a port. It's actually a full remake. So
yeah, it's remade in a different engine.
It has like updated
the
graphics.
Dragon engine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the Dragon
Yakuza engine. Yeah,
the koozies. Yes,
awesome game series, by the way.
I want to get into it, but I also don't want the time sink. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You don't. But you can just ignore the time sink. You don't need the time sink to beat it. That's just like a fuck you trap from Sega.
Yeah, but do you remember?
It's like collecting all like the little Korok seats and getting your golden poop at the end. You're not supposed to do everything.
I almost got them all.
Oh shit!
And I knew what the reward was. I still went for it.
I went for it too.
Catch them all.
Hey man, I almost 100% that game. And besides the Korok seats, I 100% that game. Anyway, so Capcom recently had sent out a warning to they put the Street Fighter community on notice for the people that have been hacking here, and it says here, it has come to our attention. A little early. Yeah, it has come to our attention that apparently they didn't know that users have been accessing Street Fighter 6 closed beta test software and playing the game outside of the designated period. This is a violation of the CBT terms of service and can be seen as a violation of the Capcom Pro Tour Code of Conduct. For the avoidance of doubt, from this point forward, any player who is shown with clear evidence that has been accessing the beta is an unauthorized way may be deemed ineligible for upcoming Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League sessions. We appreciate your cooperation and understanding in helping maintain fairness and competitive integrity of our competition. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to take this, and I mean, look, obviously, I've talked about Fightcade on this podcast just now, so it's like I don't care about the piracy aspect of it that much. It's just like, you know, this is their tournament, this is their terms, and you've got to you're kind of being stupid if you're you know, showing off the beta, like you're streaming it or you're taking pictures of yourself playing it at locals or stuff. You don't have to do that, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
feel
And
about
now when you lose, you have the ultimate challenge. It's like, yeah, I mean, I lost, but I swear I saw this guy streaming the game.
Oh man, people are gonna be so annoying about this.
Yeah, they are going to be so annoying about it. And
yeah.
I've got a lot to say on this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First of all, like I saw this whole thing coming from like the moment they announced that the beta was going to be on Steam,
Yo,
because everyone's going to data mine the shit out of it, or at least like 2 or 3 people, and just share it with anyone. It's like the same difference. So that played out naturally, exactly the way like I expected it to like go. And I would think like, Capcom, you had to have fucking known. Like your community representatives, like Combo Fiend, he has to have known that's what we would do. Like,
it
come
happened
on.
with SF5.
Yeah, it happened with SF5. Yeah. And another big thing is like there is actually huge stakes for winning Capcom Pro Tour this year. First place gets $1 million. Yeah. Which
So of course people are
it's that like one milestone that really brings like fighting games like as a competition concept into a higher echelon where we can get a lot more respect.
Now.
Yeah, a real esport now. And it's again, it is within Capcom's right to, you know, do this, because also it was a closed beta as well. It wasn't like it was an open beta that everyone had access to. I tried both times and didn't get any access to the closed beta.
Right.
So that's another level of like, if we're going to like call levels of fairness into play here, then that's like, because just having time with like a new game gives you so much of an advantage, just even if like it's going to be tweaked to where like a lot of things don't work anymore. Yeah. But like the core idea is still there. They're not going to take out the core idea.
Yeah.
I mean, something people are saying about the game is like, it is hard. It is like very heavy on the mental stack to keep track of the drive meters, to look for drive rush, to look for all this different stuff. Even though it's a deceptively simple game that is still Street Fighter, still pretty ground based. But yeah, and I guess the thing with that is like when you have this closed beta that's like available for what was it, like a couple days, like a weekend, maybe a week?
It was
I
like
don't remember.
3 days, and for the first day it was basically down due to server load anyway. So
So it's like I don't know how much that could actually give you an advantage, but you know, once the crack is out there, it's like obviously people are going to be grinding on it. And I think they knew they were in a position where it's like, we can't just ban everyone we found with it, because then a lot of the competition will be gone and the weight of this whole $1 million prize is going to be watered down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that they're like, yeah, guys, don't play the beta, don't play the crack beta, please. You know, a month before the actual game comes out.
Please, guys.
Please, just stop. You know, look, we gave you the we gave you.
They were
demo.
very nice to us. They were very nice to us.
Momochi's
but we're PC
complaining.
gamers.
Momochi's complaining, guys. We gotta calm him down. So could you just knock it off, please? It's I mean, this, I think it'll initially matter, you know, that these people had, you know, have a little bit of a head start. Well, when is Evo? Is Evo's
Evo's August. Yeah,
August,
so that's like
Okay,
a month
so
after.
Yeah, they have
Or
a
2
little
months
bit of a
after.
head start.
Yeah, a little bit of a head start.
oh god, okay.
They've only been playing it since the first beta.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I mean, and the downside too is that they have the people that have access to the first beta get access to the second beta, so they you know they get all the perks. I could definitely see that this being the right thing to do, but I definitely think it's a little too late. I don't see the point of them, doing this.
I
now.
think
I mean,
we're all
I'm
gonna
disappointed in the lack of foresight in this situation here.
I think we're gonna eat our words once like a Honda main comes out and wins Evo or something, you know?
Dude,
Yeah.
that Honda man's gonna fucking beat me, bro. Honda looks fucking sick.
Well, when you so first of all, when you win, I just want you to know that now that you said that on this podcast, is legally binding that you have to give us like a quarter of that million.
It's true. It would help
yeah.
the podcast.
Would help
immensely.
help us out a lot. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Dude, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with $250,000. So yeah.
You mean $1 million? Well, actually, it's like $500,000 because what is it like taxes? Is like
It's
Oh, yeah,
not that big of taxes. Get out of here.
no, yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah, it
stuck
is.
with like $125,000. I'm like, they'll be like, yeah, I'll split it.
If you have $1 million, I think like half of it is like a good portion of it is tax. Maybe like around half, I would imagine.
Yeah,
It's like some absurd number.
at the very
Sound right.
least, like 45%.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, so with that, did you guys happen to see the Street Fighter 6 showcase that kind of came out last week? I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it because, we didn't do a podcast last week.
Yeah.
So guys, I don't know if you know,
Sorry, folks.
but Street Fighter 6 gonna have a pretty good single player campaign.
Yeah.
And I still don't get it.
You still don't get it?
I still don't get it. I
No,
don't know.
that's a perfect antidote for you, Quintessence.
Go on.
It's just really good seeing all the weird stuff they're trying out. You've got like an overworld where you move around with Street Fighter attacks. That's gonna be pretty funny. I want to see what like speedrunning tech comes out of that.
Ooh, I
Just
didn't even
walk
think
up
of
to some
speedrun.
old
That
lady,
shit-
you're like, fight.
That's just gonna be crazy. I mean,
And she
it
whoops
depends
your
like
ass.
how Get It Off the World is too, or like people are gonna discover sequence breaks. It's gonna be crazy.
They just like punch an old lady and
Sure.
it like warps them all the way to Bison, and then
Whoa, Bison. Whoa.
whoa,
He's called JP in this game.
Yeah, he's JP. In this
John Pison.
John Pison, yes.
Pison. But yeah, no, it's definitely gonna be really cool. The speedrunning strats. Okay, so what is it that you don't understand about the single player exactly, Quint? Out of curiosity, is it just that you don't understand fully like what the point of it is? Like,
yeah, that's basically my stance. I don't know, like
it's like almost like it's like almost like an MMO in a way.
Yeah, it's a lot like.
but there's no
Create-
other players.
Isn't there other
I
players?
do remember them saying in the showcase that you could play against other people's.
Yeah,
World
in
Tour
the battle hub.
Yeah. So
You can do like OC versus OC in the battle club, when you're just like Hadouken,
Yeah,
freaking spinning
the
bird
OC
kick, and just
OC
like
meta's
throwing
gonna
all
go
the shit
crazy.
out.
Yeah.
because it's like, is the best character gonna have like moves from 6-7 characters, or is it gonna be like Ryu with an SPD? Right?
My character's
be
a
more than
zoning grappler.
it's gonna be more than that.
Kyle has a spinning pile driver.
They
The
Yeah.
third move he's always needed.
Oh, I'm finally in on his Dulcim-like attacks. Freaking Zangief grapple. It's gonna be amazing.
there was literally somebody who did a teleport into an SPD. In the trailer, like they
There it
teleported
is.
and they grabbed him and they just spin a pile driver.
Yeah, it's like they
you
understand.
that doesn't
So
surprise me
unethical.
because we already have Seth, and Seth can do that.
It's true. But yeah, the idea of that the OC is that you're going to have access to more than just the movesets of the characters. It's going to be more than that. Like weird attacks or whatever it may be. I don't know if they're going to give you like the abilities that Fridge Kun has or Isekai Truku, but they're like, hopefully they get into some weird territory there where I know like, someone was doing a slide where they did like, trying to think of it, like, what kind of slide was it? It was like
was it DJ slide?
No, it wasn't DJ slide. It was more like Guy slide. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh yeah. So like references to characters that aren't in the game.
Yes.
It's gonna be interesting. Definitely like seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that like it's gonna be really interesting. Like that may be more interesting than the actual game itself. Like it's gonna be wild once there's gonna be OC tournaments. I mean, they're gonna be all online, but
yeah.
There's gonna be like banned skill combos or something. Like, man, I don't know, man.
I wonder if there is a way to maybe like load up your OC on someone's console. If they do that, that's actually a really smart move. We'll have to see if they thought that far ahead, You
just gotta bring your memory card over to somebody's house.
I bet there will be like an OC like showcase where you can steal people's like movesets.
Ooh, yeah. But see, the thing about memory cards, that's the one thing from the era that unfortunately they can't bring back.
What's a memory card?
Yeah.
Everything else though about the whole like single player experience that like reaches back to classic Soul Calibur, like Tekken 3 with the Tekken ball, Tekken 4 stuff. That's what it really reaches back to,
See, that's the thing is like the whole memory card. Your argument of the memory card, that's not true. There's actually this thing called a USB stick, and you could actually. This is how people hack things, by the way. I don't like in modern times.
Yeah.
You just use a USB drive.
The question is like if the game will be, set up to accept just a file from a USB, or if it's going to be like, no, you gotta make this in the game. You gotta download it from the in-game loadout.
It's going to be like an online showcase kind of thing, and you just go in, download what you want, you're off to the races. There's no
always
reason
a doubt
not to do it like that.
There's
no
always
reason not to do it like that.
Yeah, it would be really cool though. Like I'm excited to see what they do. I'm trying to think.
Also,
here.
the character creator gives you all the options you've ever needed. I've never seen so many One Piece characters so faithfully recreated in my life.
I've never seen so many abominations running around at once.
Yes, I've never seen Xavier Renegade Angel in a fighting game, but god damn it, I saw it last week and I'm like, my life is complete.
I saw somebody make not Zero, but oh my god, Sigma. Somebody made like Sigma from Mega Man. Like an actual, he looked like Sigma. It was wild.
Somebody made freaking Rebecca from Edge Runners. So,
Yeah.
Not only that, but there's another crazy level to this where however you set up your character, like you get how long you give them your reach, how tall you make them, affects the move set which you're going to give them. So it's like you could give them really long arms and then also give them Dulcim's stretch arms ability. So it's even longer than what Dulcim can punch, right?
These OCs are going to be
This is going to
out of
be
hand.
nuts. There is going to be
It's just going to be
crazy.
arms and legs, the whole character, arms and legs.
Yeah. Exactly.
And hopefully nothing like the Soul Calibur 6 cube.
Yeah, my god, the Soul Calibur 6 cube. I was about to bring that up.
Please avoid the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, please.
I think
Wait, what is the Soul Calibur 6 cube?
All right, so you could just create like your customized character doesn't have to accurately represent, the hitboxes that are associated with the character.
Mm-hmm.
So there's these little geometric shapes that you can just have and like put on your character for like decorations and shit. They're like adding polygons to the model. And then what people did is they just enlarged it like so much that you really are just facing a giant menacing fucking cube.
Yeah, you
just
couldn't see
staring
what
down
they were
at you.
doing. It's just this box against you.
You have a very rough estimate of where they might be, but you can't see anything else.
Until you just get slaughtered.
Yeah, and there's
Character
like,
creator
oh,
wasn't a
sweet.
mistake, I swear.
Yeah, this custom character shit is serious.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're using this weapon style, so this combo might work, but the body type might not match. That was another thing that actually had a huge impact in Soul Calibur 6.
Oh yeah, couldn't you go into ranked with those characters too?
You could go into ranked in those
You
characters. It wasn't
could.
separated. But no one would want to play you.
Look,
But it doesn't matter. Collect your win and leave.
Yeah.
collect your winnings and leave, my friend. That reminds me. What's up?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go in a bit.
Oh,
if you want to like
We can
pick up and do the
We can just
the
wrap
little
up here.
gameplay thing you were talking about, I can probably do that like later tonight or a different day if that works.
Yeah, we can just do it some other time. Let's actually we can wrap it up here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Cool.
But Quintessence, where can people find you?
Oh, streaming a bunch of random stuff and mostly Tekken 7 over at twitch.tv/QuintessenceHD. Posting memes and hating on Elon Musk on Twitter.
Beautiful.
Also Quintessence HD. And of course, here on the Backlog podcast.
Absolutely, and I hope he reads that, and I hope he reads all
I
your hate
hope he
tweets.
does too. I hope he does too.
I hope he does too. Yo, Breezels, where can people find you, man?
Who
You'll
charged for an API?
You will definitely find me at Twitter at Breezels McCheese because I can't fit the whole thing on there. You at one point you were able to find me here on Twitch, twitch.tv.com/Breezels McCheesel.
TV.com. I've never been to that site before.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, go on.
.tv.com.jp.
yeah.
.io.
.ca.
.cr.
Anyway, so
.edu.
oh my god, .org.
.gov.
So yeah, you'll definitely find me on Twitter. I don't really post anything, but if you can always follow me, post a bunch of wacky shit, and then I'll probably be like, hey, that shit's pretty funny. So if you want to do that, then yeah, I'm on Twitter.
Breeze
Yeah.
reacts.
I mean, every account needs the one guy who likes all their posts, doesn't say
Yeah,
anything,
absolutely.
supports them.
Yes.
Me.
Support's good.
And
PolarBair, where can
guess
people
it's
find
my
you?
turn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I've got a bunch of different accounts. At this point, I just made a Linktree /PolarBair. But I'm on Twitter pretty often on PolarBair_ON. And my Twitch isn't pretty active at the moment, but maybe it'll change. I've got all sorts of other stuff, co-host, YouTube, WordPress, which I also haven't touched in about a year, but I like writing from time to time about FGC stuff.
Sick, man. And I'll leave like all the links to all of these guys' stuff in the description below. Anyway, yo guys, this has been the Backlog podcast number 52. You can find the Backlog everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, wherever you get podcasts as well. But until then, guys, we will see you soon. Peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.
Later.
Later.
Later.